All right, welcome back, everyone. Sorry we're a little late, little technical difficulties, but everyone's here, so thanks for tuning in. And as you see, Emily is joining us today. She won't be able to make it Friday, so she's jumping on with the regulars, Joel and Lauren. So, morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So,
I gotta say something though. I mean, we gotta make this one extra wacky because last Wednesday we didn't really mention the wackiness. So
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it.
yes.
Bait
Hold on,
40.
I'm hearing some back. Oh,
that's me.
okay.
That was me.
All right. I thought that was me. All right, cool. Yeah, let's actually I do want to dig. I did send you guys a video that Zuber did recently with Ryan Pineda and Brian Davila, and it's caused quite a stir a little bit in maybe our community, but also I have seen some other reaction videos actually on that video. So like Tom McKay of Flip Anything USA has did a reaction video to it. But did you guys get a chance to take a peek at it?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Joel, I'm not sure if you did. I know Emily and Lauren did the assignment probably, but maybe Lauren,
Did
you
you do
can
your
go.
homework, Joel?
Yeah, I'm gonna get an F on the report card. Sorry, guys.
Mm.
All right. Well, Lauren, what was your thoughts? Did you get through the whole video, or did you kind of just listen
I
to
got
maybe the
through, I
clip?
think, most of it. Yeah, it was, I was impressed. I have to say, I haven't seen that much of Zuber's content, and I was super impressed with his composure. And he just looks like a seasoned investor next to two young bucks who are just kind of complaining about circumstance and the market, and also still completely crushing it, but saying that conditions weren't favorable. So it was interesting. It made me have a lot more respect for Zuber. Not that I didn't before, I just didn't know much about him. So I definitely left after listening going like, Zuber's the man. Like, he had so much poise and composure and just like good information and good facts, and he's been doing it for a long time. And I totally agree with him, which is like, and if you, and I've seen some of the content of Ryan Pineda like early days, and it very much was like get rich quick content. And so I could see how they're feeling a little bit like jaded from the turn of the market because of the time that they got into it. And they're a little bit like, they came off as like fair weather investors and discouraging people from investing in real estate because it's a little bit harder. It takes a year to find a good deal, is very short-sighted. And like Zuber said, yeah, but in 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to have a great portfolio that they're going to be able to retire and have financial security. So yeah, I enjoyed hearing his perspective, and made me even more excited to go to the conference.
All right. I just want to remind everyone, Lauren has her channel linked, so she is subscribing. I mean, streaming right now. So go jump over there,
Yeah, go to my
subscribe,
channel.
like, and also I'm not sure if Emily got hers hooked up yet. Okay, but Joe is streaming live, so go jump over there also. As you can see, Emily is somewhere. So maybe before she gives her thoughts on the video, where are you right now, Emily? And what are you, I guess, waiting for or whatnot?
Well, so for some reason, my restream, I'm hotspotting off of my phone, and I've had issues at the beginning. Now it's trying to connect me to my like construction DIY channel, not my real estate. So I can't get it to link over there. So I'm going to keep trying periodically. If it feels like I'm not paying attention, I am. I'm just trying to link that channel. So I'm just on a job site right now. This is a house that I'm flipping, unless the market turns, and then it will be a rental. But the intention is to flip it. And I have a guy measuring carpet for me. So, they give you that window you got to be here for. So anyway, I have my computer over here hotspotted to my phone. And yeah, is that all you want, or do you want me to give you my answer too?
Yeah, you may as well give us a little bit of your thoughts on it because Joel apparently didn't do the assignment. So we might as well just let you talk on it a little bit.
We can like Spark Notes it, and then he can give his opinion and be like, oh yeah, I totally watched it.
Yeah.
So I agree a lot of with a lot of what Lauren said. I think that it is going to be harder. And as they went through the conversation, they did acknowledge, they didn't say it wasn't going to, well, they did really drag on rental properties. They're more flippers. but it's still possible. It is going to be harder. And I feel like when they started, they're kind of this group of people who made a lot of money really quickly in real estate investing and have been really successful in their timeline, but they came in at a time where the market was really good, which I feel like was hard for people that have been in it for a while, because you had these people, I feel like people that were really ballsy, that were really willing to take on risk, grew a lot really fast. And I'm more of a scared, timid investor. So I do a little bit better in harder times where there's not as many people in the market. You're not having to pay these crazy prices because interest rates were great. So everything was really high. And so I agree with what Lauren said too, that Zuber had a lot of data. He had a lot of facts, and I'm not discounting the fact that it was a different time to start when he started, and everybody, as these generations turn over, or these 10-year phases of real estate getting into it, you have different hurdles. So the hurdles in the 90s are different than the hurdles in the 20s and the 2010s, and the people that started in 2019 and the people starting now. It's a different game. But for me, the more people that are afraid of it and don't want to do it just makes it more possible for the people that do want to be in the game to come in and succeed. Like, it's hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it and it wouldn't be beneficial or financially, beneficial. But it's definitely something that I feel like it still makes sense. You just have to look for those properties. There are still sellers that they had forbearances, they're in pre-foreclosure, they're in difficult times, and they have good equity, and they would rather sell their properties than go into foreclosure. They're not going to get their equity out, but they're going to come out kind of even. And those people are selling. And so you just might have to put in more offers, and you might not, like Zuber might be able to buy a 5-year-old property because he's putting a ton down because he's been in the game forever and he has a lot of cash. So those aren't the properties I'm going to buy because I am growing. I can't put 50% down and make sense, but it still makes sense. Like, I'll buy an older property, flip it, use that profit to then go buy a newer property and put the money down. So there's a game to play. The game just shifts depending on the timeline you're in the market.
And I think that's kind of what Zuber was saying. He was just like, yeah, you just have to like adapt, and it's still worth it. Like Ryan and the other guy were kind of going like, rental is dead. It's not a good time to be buying rentals, like real estate. They were kind of basically saying like real estate's dead. And his point was like, actually, it's a way better market now because in 2020, 21, 22, there were 7 offers over asking the second somebody put a sign in the ground. And now there's more opportunity for people to find unique properties and different opportunities to find if you're willing to work a little bit for it.
Before we let Joel give maybe his thoughts on it quickly, Hyder said, Lauren looks very professional this morning.
It's because I'm in a very boring office. That's why. But thank you, Hyder.
And Joel V says, tell Joel he is not Batman. If people don't know, Joel's been putting out a lot of content on Facebook, and one of them is his new image of him being Batman. So that's from Joel V.
I thought that they were referring to his new wounds, that he's like fighting crime at night.
Well, so Joel, give us maybe your thoughts on what you've heard so far. And also that little shiner looking thing on your face. What happened there?
The Batman thing, just real quick. I a couple years ago, I bought a bat phone online, the red, like, the 1970s or 60s bat line, and that was a tagline. I bought a phone number that was 1866 bat line, and I have a lot of agents that come to me for deals that get declined, and so that was kind of the purpose of that. So that's an old running joke. I got hit playing basketball, elbowed. Well, I was dunking on somebody, got elbowed. So no. But my thoughts on the whole interview is, okay, I know what Zuber's all about, and Pineda, he's got a really, really massive organization and a team of people that he's running. Like, he's selling coaching, he's doing media, he's doing all these things. He has to be able to generate a certain amount of revenue on each of these entities that he's doing. And so right now, I mean, if you can't make XYZ or 25% or I don't know what their numbers are on their ROI on an investment, they're not going to do it because they have so much overhead. And you look at Zuber, right? I mean, he's charging $20 a month for his school community. Like Pineda's coaching's tens of thousands of dollars. Like it's apples and oranges in terms of the profile of the person. So their perspective on rentals, I expected it to be different because these guys, they're like ADHD entrepreneurs. They want to go make all kinds of money and make it happen fast, and that's just not what real estate is. And I think that backdrop made the conversation just. I mean, I don't know what you call it entertaining, but like, yeah, they're gonna. It's oil in the water. It's gonna class. It's not gonna sync up in terms of their mindset. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Well, it's funny because they're selling like real estate coaching, I'm assuming, but they're not doing real estate. So it's, yeah, to me, it just seems like classic YouTuber that isn't really in the game. Like I have a lot of respect for Zuber and what he's doing because there are a lot of people who have a decent social media following that are not in the game, not doing real estate, and are coaching people, and that's actually how they're making money. That is their business.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I told Zuber like that was kind of my biggest takeaway. He did a great job, you know, his composure. I even joked about it on school. Somebody did post about the video, and I seriously thought Zuber was gonna pull the Hulk smash from Avengers and just start smashing these two dudes on screen. But he did a great job. I think I want to touch on also is maybe out of all of us on the live stream today, I would say maybe, you know, Emily's doing the flipping side and the real estate side, so she can maybe address both sides of that. But also Lauren, I would say you're maybe the most, it's not spread out, but just you've dabbled in a lot of different spaces in real estate, right? So I think maybe you're kind of like Brian in a sense. You try the short-term rentals, you had the equestrian farm,
Totally.
but yet you're still sticking with it and being successful, right? So maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
Well, interestingly enough, he talked about how he never was able to replace his income and that he has not become financially free from it. And that he still needs like that active income. And same with Ryan, like he's talked about before how he lost money on his flipping business, and they built this huge machine and this huge monster. And that's just not how I did it. Like everything I did was very concentrated. It's like I did equestrian properties, but they were concentrated in one market, in one area of one market. And I just knew that those were going to work. And so I was able to become financially free in 4 years and replace my income and be able to do this full time. And I'm like spread out geographically, but I am in areas that I kind of like know, or I'll try different types of real estate, but I'm not creating this like monstrous machine where I'm buying 50 properties and flipping them all and, you know, feeding one over here from the income of that and that one's losing money. Like I'm not doing that. I'm still doing, like, I still have a very small portfolio comparatively.
Now, like I said, Emily, maybe you can kind of touch on like you're still flipping properties, but you have long-term rentals, and kind of how it almost seems as like a lot of people probably only do one, right? Either they're on the flipping side of things, or some people are in the long-term real estate side of things. But you're able to seem like it made both of them work at the same time, right? So how is that difficult for you to kind of navigate that? Like sometimes you get excited about the flips, or you know, the long-term rental is kind of too slow for you. But how are you handling both sides?
I think again to what Lauren said, so I see these people that grew a lot really fast. Some of the coaches, some of the people, because that's what people click on, right? That's, oh, I want to do that. And so, and I kind of go, oh, I've been investing for a long time and I'm not there. But I always say this, I'm adverse to risk. And so I have done this very slowly, but I also really, there's like, I mean, obviously something could happen. You could have an injury, but there's really a snowball's chance in hell that I'm going to lose this all because I've done it so slow and I have low debt to income ratios, you know, like I have a lot of cash reserves. And so you see these people that are like, yeah, I've lost money. They're taking on a lot of risk. Now they've also become successful in a shorter amount of time, but they're taking on a lot of risk by doing that. And I'm sure they're much more financially, I'm sure they have a lot more money than I do. But for me, I always bought and held. So everything I had rental wise, I held on to. And I had a good income as a real estate broker, but not a crazy high income, like if I was like a plastic surgeon or, And so that's why I started the flipping, was because I figure it's a way to inject more capital and buy more rentals quicker or pay my rentals down quicker. And so I do both out of like the second guy, I feel bad to say his name, that was on that conversation. He was saying he still has to have active income. Well, I kind of look at flipping as an additional active income. So flipping is my way to be able to make more on top of the real estate brokerage and be able to buy more property. So it's not really hard to balance it. And everything I do, I look at, okay, if the market shifts, this will become a rental. I can still keep it as a rental. I don't flip anything that I wouldn't be willing to potentially hold on to if I had to. Again, I'm growing much slower, but I'm very comfortable, and I don't have that stress because this has to sell, or I have to be here really late to get this one done, and this one has to be done, or I have this much hard money. I don't want to live that life. That's scary to me. So I'm just much slower, but they go hand in hand, because any flip can be a rental, and the flips just fund the rentals.
I know, Joel, you mentioned kind of them having this kind of bigger production, also, selling courses, things. And Troy brings up a great point. He does say, I think what Ryan and Brian were complaining about is that the mentees are struggling to be successful quickly. So almost like they're making an excuse or saying real estate is hard, so that the people that are paying for their programs aren't like, hey, how come this guy's saying real estate is doing well and we're over here struggling, right? So do you have any thoughts on that, on Troy's comment?
I mean, I think it's on point for sure. And I think, when you're selling these courses for 10 grand or whatever the number is, and I don't know what kind of expectations they're delivering for make money after 6 months or a year or two, but like they're selling flipping, and that's just such a volatile business, and the ability to buy something under market value and then to sell it at retail, where, I mean, the demand for housing right now is just not there like it was a couple of years ago. So I don't know. I think it's all about the expectations. But yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, justifying selling these courses. So
it almost seems as though counterintuitive to selling course. Like, who's going to buy a real estate course when they're saying the market's dead?
At this point, yeah.
At this point. And maybe they're not, maybe they're switching and not doing that now.
But I felt like they were saying, I didn't get to the very end of it, but I listened to a good hour of it. And I don't feel like they were saying flipping didn't make sense or wholesaling. I think they were just saying buy and hold rental property is dead right now.
Well, he also was saying wholesaling. He said wholesaling. He was talking about how they've changed the rules or whatever, and the disclosure, and it's making it much harder for people. And I think that he was speaking to probably his mentees a little bit, but yeah, he was saying that it's harder. But then he, in the next breath, was saying he's making 7 figures doing it. So it was a little bit like confusing about what the messaging really was.
And isn't it funny how the comments, so I have a lot of thoughts about wholesaling. I'm not fully informed on it, but everything that was a concern about what made it harder was the ethics of it, that you have to give them a disclosure that says they're selling it below market value and you're making a profit. I have always told people that, like, I will have people come to me and say, hey, I know you buy houses, but I know you're a realtor. Would you be interested in buying this? And I'll say, okay, I would buy it for this much, but I'm not going to do inspections, and I'm going to buy it in 7 days, or as long as the title company takes, right? You could put it on the market and it will sell, I think, for this much more, but it's going to take you longer. You're going to have some frustrations because someone's going to want to be able to do inspections, but I am offering you less than you will make if you put this on the market. Ethically, yeah. One, as a realtor, I'm supposed to do that. 2, as a human being that's not a piece of shit, I feel like I have to do that. And so the fact that you have to give someone a disclosure, like I ask people to do subject to and wholesaling, how do you feel about this? Like, what happens when they see your settlement statement and they're pissed and they're like, well, we have this conversation up front. So ethical wholesalers and people doing sub 2 and creative financing, they're doing that anyway. It's not necessarily the money. It's that you can do it quick and get them out of a bad situation. If you're buying a house, like I had a flipper tell my husband one time, we got this house for X amount, it's worth this. And I'm like, how do you sleep? Like, that person had no idea what their house was worth. And you I just don't feel good about that. So the fact that people having to understand that they're kind of getting bamboozled hurts your business, maybe that's not a great business. That's just how I feel about it. Like, again, if someone knows you're making a profit and it's mutually beneficial, that's okay. But if they're being, some little old lady is selling you her house for 80 grand and it's worth 200 as is, and you're not telling her that, maybe you're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, I better bring up one of Flavio's questions before I get text message and him getting upset that I'm not sharing his questions here. But he is saying, Emily, most flippers, when they look back, they regret not keeping some houses. And he says you should maybe do a DSCR on those flips and keep them. And I think you've just recently learned kind of about DSCR loans products, right? So that might be something in your future that you're looking to do. And I think he did mention wholesalers. I forgot the exact number. He was saying maybe previously there was 80,000 or I forget the number, but he said a certain number there was wholesalers, and now there's like maybe only 10% of that number. So they've definitely gone down. And Zuber's like, realtors have gone down, lenders have gone down. So it's like a lot of people are exiting the market. But I think the one thing that people did have a difficult time with, and I'm not sure if you guys agree, but was the fact that it seemed like Brian and Ryan Pineda both almost for like 10K a month, 20K a month is not enough, right? So
Yes.
like one of the comments on that video, this individual says, Ryan and the bald guy are out of touch with reality. If you're able to make and live off of 10K a month from real estate, that's great. So do you guys have thoughts on that? Like they were saying, like, 10K, that's it's not enough kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that goes back to Joel's point, which is like these guys have created huge overhead for themselves that that 10K wouldn't be enough for them, 10 or 20. But yeah, and that's the thing. They're not speaking to the average. They're talking about average investors like, oh, the market's not good for the average investor. And then they're like, you can only make 10K a month. I'm like, for the average person, 10K a month is life-changing. So there was a lot of, I feel like there was a lot of that kind of like, in one hand, they're saying they're speaking for the average person. And then on the other hand, they're totally out of touch with the average person.
Emily, quick question for you. In your market in Montana, Wyoming.
It's in Wyoming. Yeah.
Wyoming. What would you say is like, okay, I'm a family of 3 or 4, a couple kids. I'm going to go buy an average home in your market. Is it 400,000? Is it 700,000? What's the average price?
I think our median probably right now is like 350, mid threes. Used to be, 10 years ago it was 240 something. So it's gone to 100, but 350 probably.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I was thinking it was higher than that for some reason. And the point I was going to bring up is like in some markets, you can take California as an example, or the DC market, or a few others. Like you may only be able to find a $500,000 or $600,000 house that's entry level. And then you're talking about a mortgage payment of like $4,000. And if you make 10K a month, and that's the other thing I was going to bring up too, is like you have all these people online talking about their business or their coaching or whatever, and like I make 6 figures a month, or I make 50 grand a month. Are you making that in top line revenue? Is that your net income? Is that your operating? Like what is that actually? And so if you're making 10K a month, is that before tax? Is it after taxes? Is that net? Because like 10K a month, after you take taxes out and mortgage payment, like there isn't a whole lot left if your mortgage payment is $4,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
500 is really like a nice, pretty like new construction, expensive house is like 550 here. So, but then you have a lot of stuff in the 2s that is where people want to be around, but 350 is probably the middle. I do want to comment because I'm looking at some things in the chat. I do want to clarify on the wholesaling thing. I don't care. So as an investor, I don't care about buying a wholesale and a wholesaler making a profit. I understand they are doing what they're doing to make a profit. What I want to clarify is when you as a flipper or you as an investor or you as a wholesaler are buying from a homeowner. Now, I fully believe you're responsible for your own choices and you have to educate yourself. I personally would feel unethical if I got a crazy deal from somebody and I was under buying a house significantly and I knew that and I didn't tell them that. I'm talking about the person I'm buying the home from. I feel bad if I tell them, hey, this is way less than the house is worth, but I'm going to do it quick and cash. And they're like, that's okay. I'm on a timeline. That's fine. But if I'm misrepresenting the value of their home and getting a house for way less than it's worth, and they don't know that, I do not, as a human being, again, yes, it's their responsibility to do their research. I can't live with that. I don't feel ethically about that as the person purchasing it. So I don't care if a wholesaler makes a profit. I just don't like when a homeowner doesn't understand and they trusted you and you aren't straightforward with them. So I just want to clarify on that.
Now, the one thing I do want to also bring up that people have been mentioning is that a lot of people may not have realized how much Zuber was making with his W-2 when he first started investing.
Mhm.
So for a lot of people, maybe, they don't really, Zuber, I believe, was making 400K around or so.
No,
at that
I think it was like 6.
They were adjusting for time. He said
Yes.
800 is best, 400 on average, and they said 6 was like comparable to today's dollars.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I think the other part he may not have mentioned was that I think Olivia, his wife, also had a high W-2 income job. So that was part. So that started his journey, right? They were making a lot of money, but they were spending a lot of money, and they finally realized like this is not the way. So I think almost what they did was they basically just lived off of one income, and then were investing the difference, and that's how they scaled. But I think
$500,000 income.
Yeah, but that's where some people are now like, wait a minute, Zuber is trying to do this one rent at a time type of advice, or I guess you want to say. But then people are like, I'm not even close to making 400K a year, right? So how am I supposed to do it when he had this high paying W-2 income job, right? So I think that's where some people are trying to relate now with Zuber and how do I do it when I'm only making 100K a year, right, or something, right? And which is still great, but I mean, it's not the 400K that he was making at that time, right?
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any
It's very
thoughts?
valid. I mean, that's a lot of money even back then,
I
especially
mean,
on a dual income.
yeah, but then the question becomes, okay, well, how many years of Zuber's career did it take for him to get from what did he start at 40K and then got to 400K, or what was the journey like? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you have the awareness of how real estate can change your life and build wealth. The sooner you start the time clock to build wealth. And so, the messaging I think is, in my mind, is it doesn't matter where you are, just start in your lane, start in your entry level amount of price, and by just getting in the game, then you let time work for you. So I think, I can see how it could be, hard to see that from someone making 400K, but he didn't start there. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't start there. That's kind of just when he decided to start, I think, investing in real estate, right? So yeah, definitely, I hope people keep that in perspective. So maybe I think that also helps the people that are feeling like they're behind, right? Like they're like, Zuber did it in 10 years, or how did he get so successful when I'm over here in year 5 or whatnot, and my properties ain't even close to cash flowing the same amount. But so just keep that in perspective that Zuber did have a very well-paying W-2 income, right? And it definitely helps. And that's also why he's not one of those trying to tell you to get out of your W-2 so quickly, right? He's trying to tell you to leverage that and stay with your W-2 so that you can use that to help, scale your portfolio. Another thing I saw in a lot of the videos was just the fact that it seemed like Pineda, right? I bought 5 rentals in 5 different markets in my first 5 years, and he was just all over the place, right? And I think that's where a lot of people are facing. They're always chasing the next shiny object, right? So, what advice can you guys maybe give people in today's market? It is harder, but they're always maybe trying to pivot too quickly. Do you think people are jumping because it's hard in the market that they're in? So, like Emily, like you're in your market, you're possibly thinking about jumping in another market, but like, what advice can you tell people about the benefits of staying in one market?
Well, one, I don't know that I'm the best person to give advice, because first, I do want to say, regardless of this conversation, those guys all have way more money than I do, at least to my knowledge, right? Like and it might be from selling on cores, it might be from, but they're all richer than I am. So I don't know. I don't know that I'm the person to be giving advice. They're just giving their opinion on long-term buy and hold rentals right now. So obviously they're doing better than I'm doing. But one thing I realized when I started looking at other markets was So I thought, okay, I can invest in other markets because I was trying to remove myself a little bit and not control as much, or I can work on myself. And as I looked at the numbers, my market is good. My market is better than most of the markets I've looked at. One, because I'm not paying a property manager, which a lot of people build that in because they don't want to manage. But one, because I'm not paying a property manager. If I buy everything in my area, I can hire a statutory employee in my state who can handle all my stuff at the point that I want to pull myself out a little bit. And two, we have really good property taxes. Wyoming has no state income tax, things, what you can buy, what you can rent them for. There's areas that are better, but when I look at it all together, I kind of went, not saying I won't invest somewhere else at some point if the deals make sense, but it would be better for me to build a model in one spot and decide, okay, I have to choose to pull myself out a little bit and create a system than to try to go somewhere else. I'm still building a system. I just, the numbers aren't as good once I look at the taxes, once I pay a manager, once I, all those things. So for me, it kind of made me feel like my market's not that bad. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I got to work on myself. But again, I'm not, how can I give advice when those people, they're saying something about rental property, but I would assume they're all doing better than I'm doing financially. So who am I to say?
To that point, I will say that I know people that have spent about 100K on Pineda's mastermind or being in that inner circle, and they renew it every year. So apparently they're getting some benefit, or they, things that they get out of it. But yeah,
how you say 100K?
Yeah. So he has like a probably inner circle mastermind type of thing, and it's a yeah. So I know people that have, well, I shouldn't say, I know a person that has done it and they renewed, or they've done it more than 1 year. So they must feel that they're getting that value out of being in there, right? So, but yeah.
I mean, to me, they're a prime example of the power of social media. Like, I don't think that these guys would have more money than you, Emily, if they weren't really great at social media. Like that, they hit social media, that their money is not coming from real estate. So if we're talking about like as a real estate investor, you're probably more successful based off of what I've heard about how much money they've kind of like lost during it. But they were willing to lose that money because so much of it was about their YouTube channel and about having the image and looking a certain way and getting people to pay them $100,000 for a mastermind because they are real estate gurus. But to me, it just is like attention, money flows in the direction that attention goes. And if you are out there and people know who you are and they perceive you to be doing a lot of things, like they'll pay you $100,000. So yeah, I think that to me speaks to the power of social media.
Yeah, when you spend that kind of money, you're paying for access to that network too. So it's like, okay, Pineda's built this brand. He's got connections that you and I will never probably have at this point in our lives. So
yeah,
maybe the person like what other business, like what business do they run? What industry are they in, Mark?
Real estate. I mean, I don't know if they're house flipping and stuff still yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I know some people that were part of his group when he like very, very first started. Like he'd maybe been flipping for like maybe less than a year, and he started his group and then started YouTube. Like he started every aspect of his business as soon as he was kind of like doing the flipping in real estate. So I know a couple of people who were in it during that time, and what they got out of it was the social media part. Yeah.
I think the other thing that Zuber talks about all the time, and I think is totally accurate, is that Pineda is a unicorn, and I don't think he doesn't know how to read the room, or maybe who he's speaking to. But maybe that's his persona, or that's his social media, right? So that's who he's trying to attract. But he is a unicorn, and he's able to. He's an entrepreneur, right? So right now he's doing that. I think it's M19 he's doing this golfing kind of mastermind type of thing where people pay to golf, and it's kind of be able to network on the golf course, and that's his new business or brand that he's putting out there. But Charles McCune is saying, wait, so if I'm assuming Mike, he's meaning Zuber. If Zuber made 100K and lost 20K, I wonder if I would have the guts to change the way he did if income ratio was adjusted. Wait.
Yeah, he's saying like if the income ratio, so like if he's making 400K, it would be 100K loss. Like, would he have, wondering if he would have the guts to change if the income ratio was adjusted.
Wait, to change what? The strategy, or to change what?
I think he's just saying if you're making $400,000 to $800,000 a year and you lose $20,000, it's not that big of a deal. If you're making $100,000 a year and you lose $20,000, it could be really damaging. And so when you have a higher earned income, you can take some of those risks and take some of those losses, because you know, in real estate, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But if you have that to fall back on, it's a little bit less scary, and we approached it differently. We had a big loss if his income wasn't as high.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that was the surprising part for a lot of people, I think, hearing Zuber's W-2 income. But I also think that people also do realize that he's not pushing that overnight wins, right? He's telling you it's going to be 5 years of suck. It's going to take, minimum 10 years, just not overnight success. And he's telling you to keep your W-2 and use that to grow, right? Until, maybe the 10-year point. Do you think, let's see, so should rentals be judged on cash flow early or long-term wealth? Joel, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't understand the question. Should they be judged on cash flow or wealth or long-term
Well,
wealth?
so some people, they buy a property and they're basing it on the cash flow from day one. Is it successful, right? Is this a good property, right? Or should it be judged on the long-term wealth that maybe this asset will bring?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're never gonna be able. You always talk about the 5 years that suck early on. So I mean, you got to get over that hump and that realization first. But also the type of real estate that you are investing in. Like if you're investing in Gary, Indiana, where you're looking for cash flow versus, let's just say, in St. Louis in a certain market like Fenton or Kirkwood or whatever, these are decent counties where you're gonna buy a single family property for $350K. You're gonna cash flow $300 a month, or even $100 a month. But the long-term appreciation is going to be solid, like your typical 4% per year, and good neighborhoods that are safe. And so it depends. Like I know somebody who did that. And again, this is very hyper local to St. Louis, but Kirkwood is a very, very nice, high level suburban area. And I know somebody who was single that bought 4 houses in over 12 years, built a family along the way, and he's got over $1 million of equity built up over this time frame, and not a whole lot of cash flow, but the strategy was just to be able to cover the payment and expenses because the appreciation was going to be there in the long term. So you have to know your market and know your strategy. So I think it depends, but 5-10 year horizon, that's the most important thing to be looking at, not just 1 year.
I do see Caleb on Instagram from First Responder Finance, who was on a few weeks ago, but he does say, what we don't know is how peaceful their lives are. Success has a fairly subjective definition. If their version of success would put significant stress on your life, then it isn't success for you.
Yeah. Totally.
And I do just want to say, as we're having this conversation, I think that sometimes people have different goals. And, I have friends who want to have one person work, one person stay home. They want more work-life balance. They have really good systems for them. And that's what happiness is to them. And I have people that want to make tons and tons of money, and that's what makes them feel peaceful. And that's what happiness is to them. But I really hate, for somebody who wants to operate at the level where they're having, where they say $10,000 or $20,000 a month isn't a lot. Imagine if you worked so hard to get to that point and that was amazing for you, and then someone made you feel small about that. So I just want people to realize, please try to be so self-aware of what your goals are, because if you build up a portfolio where you're making $10,000 a month off of your portfolio, that is amazing. And most people don't even make that much in earned income a month, let alone off of their portfolios. And so I really hope that as we watch all this real estate stuff and all these coaches over the years, and used to be on Bigger Pockets, you'd listen and then it was oh, this person works and they have a couple rentals and this is how they built it. And now it's this person has 300 rentals and they're 19, and not everybody wants that life. I love that Caleb was saying that. don't let it diminish what your goals are. And I don't think it matters if you want to have 500 or 1,000 or if you want to have 10, but don't let somebody else's goals make you feel like what you did wasn't good or it was small, because everyone has different things they want to do with their life. And that's amazing. $10,000 or $20,000 a month is amazing. $5,000 and rentals are not passive. I will never say they're passive, but if you're making $5,000 a month on your rentals and you're still working and you love your job and it just supplements that, that's amazing too. So please take self-inventory of what you want to do, because the life that you have to make what those guys are making, like, do you want that? And I just want to point that out, because I don't want to diminish the success that people like. I love Coach Chad Carson, small mighty investor, talks about growing cautiously and slowly. And now he has like 150 rentals, 175. I don't know, but he did it in a very careful, tactical way. I just want to point that out, because I feel like this, if your goals are different than his, don't listen to people that are where you don't want to be necessarily.
And also, what it looks like is not always what it seems like on the other side. Like, I do know a lot of people who were investing and would probably have the same sentiment and that jadedness that Ryan and the other guy were talking about comes because they probably had a really stressful time when the market shifted and turned. And I can imagine if I was flipping 50 to 100 houses and rentals or wholesaling, whatever, and my business starts dying and I have employees and all of that, like the stress that comes along with that, I don't think any of us would want. And so what it looks like on social media is like all of this success behind the scenes might be a total dumpster fire. And it might be successful in other ways as well, but it's just like, you don't know what's actually going on. And I do remember during like COVID, everybody was obsessed with counting doors. Like, it was just like, oh, I've been investing for 2 years and I have 25 doors. And I now see all of those people singing a different tune, like Coach Carson talking about small and mighty. A lot of them have gone on to be like, no, now I've sold all of those properties and I just have a select handful. So they'll be singing a different tune in 2 years. So just like know your own strategy, know your own goals, what you want, and stick to that plan, because I guarantee in a few years' time, it's all going to come back around and people might be saying what you've been doing all along, which is like what they were trying to do isn't working. Like, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. All you can do is like know your own life and try and reach the goals that you have, and not try to keep up with the Joneses on social media.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Marcus. I was going to.
No, I was just going to say
a different subject.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that, yeah. Like, so, like, Cody Davis, my Monday guest, who had this, I think, like 250 doors by 24, 25. He's scaling back. He understands it's not door count. He's trying to consolidate, get newer properties. Take some headaches off the table, get rid of partnerships, things like that. Justin Cambra, who'll be on Friday, taking Emily's place on Friday's live stream. But Justin, same thing. He scaled quickly. I believe he was up to maybe 100 doors, 4 or 5 different markets. But he's trying to sell off a lot of things, even, move a lot of his money back to closer to him now that he's got a certain footing, right? But yeah, a lot of people at a certain point, try to consolidate things and clean it up. Before Joel brings up maybe another ish topic or whatever, but I did want to touch on, there was a lot of chatter in the chats from those videos, is even when I'll just say the bald guy then, he was no, well, I don't want to say his name, but so the bald guy, but he said something like, I bought an apartment like 2 to 3 units or something, or
Yeah.
and a lot of people in the chat were like, that's not an apartment. Like, so like they're almost like, this guy is talking real estate, selling a course, and yet like it seems like maybe he doesn't even know what he's doing to some extent, right? So I don't know. I don't know if you guys picked up on that or.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. So, some of the stuff that he was saying, even he said, when he said he was convinced to buy these like HUD properties and they aren't performing well. And I'm going, who's doing your like acquisition analysis? Like, who's running your numbers? Because it seems like you need a new person to do that, because he basically said nothing he has ever done has made money except for his wholesaling business. Like,
no shit.
He's never made money on real estate. And I'm like, if you're making 7 figures in wholesaling and you can't make money in real estate, you have an issue with how you're analyzing deals, because you either are buying at the wrong loan to value, or you're buying properties that you're not like doing your due diligence and doing the correct inspections and knowing what you're getting into. So your costs end up being way more, or you're analyzing the rental market wrong. Like, something's going wrong if you're making 7 figures. And then, yeah, he said he started off buying small apartments of 2 units. I'm like, that's a duplex.
Well, I'll address this real quick. So Hugo's saying I thought Mark was the bald guy, and I'll be honest though. If I had hair like Pineda, I would be coloring it red or something too to get attraction to my channel. I definitely would. But the funny thing, the funny thing though is last week I did a live stream with Justin Cambra, and I put myself on the thumbnail also, but I had a picture of me with no hat on. And we got on the live stream before we started. Justin's like, "Oh, is the other guy jumping on?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, that's me in the thumbnail." He's like, "Oh man, I didn't know you were involved in that."
That's so funny. You
All right,
have to, that hat just is part of you now. Like, you have to wear it. Nobody will recognize you at the conference if you don't wear it.
Well, it's because Joe V said there's a shine off of my forehead when I don't have a hat on the live stream, so that's why I wear a hat all the time now.
Joe V, man, he don't let up.
But Joe, what did you want to bring up then?
Well, I look back at my own journey, and I started my real estate journey. I bought my first house in 2009. My first rental became the next one when I bought in 2013. I guess 2013, I bought my next house, and we just didn't have the information and the awareness of what we do today with all the YouTube and influencers and whatever. And I look back and like fear, like, okay, if I don't do this now, I'm just not going to do it. Like my second home, like I was very scared because I'm in a commission job, etc. And I think, knowing yourself, and we said that before, knowing yourself, and like when you're spending time on real estate, analyzing a deal or dealing with renters, like it's typically when you're like a low energy, like it's late at night or it's like middle of the day. Like it's just like knowing yourself and your energy levels. And I know like that thing I just said, like, if I don't do this right now, I know that I'm not going to do it. If I don't do this right now, I'm going to get scared. I just won't pull the trigger. And I hear people talk about, well, I did this and I went all into real estate and then now it's too much and I'm going to scale back. But it's like, well, if you didn't do that, would you be in the game at all? And I look at this whole real estate journey and just knowing yourself and knowing your relationship with fear. And then like to pivot a little bit off of that, like the whole interview with Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozi. And it was an amazing interview. People can have their own thoughts about it. But I'm seeing a lot of people weighing in on their thoughts of like almost putting Alex Hormozi in a negative light. Like, okay, he has all these demons and all these childhood wounds and his parents, didn't love him. And he's like got all this stuff he's hanging that he's like, he's only this good because he had all this, pain that he's been working through. And he works nonstop and doesn't have a life and doesn't have a life worth living. He's not having any fun, blah, 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 blah. It's like, everyone wants to be armchair quarterback, but he's using all these things as fuel to get to where he wanted to go. He put these goals out there himself. He figured out ways to be able to fuel himself with extra energy to be able to make these things happen. I just think it's funny when you've got somebody like that who's doing amazing things and he had his own journey and you have all these armchair quarterbacks critiquing him on this. And especially the people that are like in the counseling world, like, I don't know. I'm not one. I've been through counseling, my own demons, but I'm not one to judge somebody else and put somebody down for what or how they accomplish something. I just think it's just interesting. There's a lot of that stuff going on right now after that interview as well.
Yeah.
Steven, who's just retired from the FDNY, who just joined the school community, and I'm still trying to pester him to be in Vegas because there is tickets available. So if people don't know, the official ticket sales have stopped, but Zuber has 15 tickets still to sell. But Steven's asking, I know asking about door count is something a novice will ask, but doesn't asking that question help you to understand an investor's experience?
I don't think so, because I know a lot of people who had a high door count, quote unquote, but they were essentially just very quickly buying properties, utilizing partnerships or other people's money or whatever it was. And in 4 years, they lost everything. So I don't know. I mean, they're certainly getting some sort of experience. They might be really experienced in acquisition or finding properties or whatever, but I know a lot of people that didn't make money. So I think the question is like, what kind of experience are you looking for? Like they do have some experience. They are buying, they are in the game, but I think you need to ask more about, because there are other people like Coach Carson. Obviously, he has a lot of doors now, but at a time, someone who was like growing or building their portfolio slower but steady might be somebody who has more experience or better advice for you. I think it's about knowing what you're trying to do and then finding somebody who's done that and has done it successfully. So I think success is the word that I would use rather than experience. Like find somebody who's doing what you want to do successfully and then ask for their advice. I don't think door count necessarily attributes to success.
I mean, I know somebody has like 3.4% ownership of like over 100 doors. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, that's cool.
Well,
like
and
you
that's
did all
the
kinds of
thing.
stuff, but like what does that actually mean? I don't even
People
know.
will say they have a certain number of doors, and what they own of that is infinitesimally small. Like they sold all of that, you're getting the tiniest paycheck.
And that's if, like you said, that's if that's making money. If there's actually equity in the deal still.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is the problem you're talking about, right, Joe? But Charles is saying, "Hi, my name is Joe, and I have a real estate investing problem." He says, "I feel the same." But I just maybe we can wrap it up with this stuff. So I think part of the struggle problem is, yes, real estate is hard right now. It is a lot maybe more challenging the past few years, but at the same time, we're seeing what the stocks hit 7,000 or S&P hit 7,000 today. Was that what it was? I think it touched 7,000, right? Silver is at what, 120, 125. So gold
115.
Yeah. So I mean,
gold over 5K.
So other asset classes are doing very well, right? So I think that's also where some people are like, is this $200 a month cash flow worth it, right? So I think.
Well, I want to say one thing, because I'm analyzing like a lot of deals right now because I'm in the midst of my 1031 exchange. And I have to say, I have seen opportunities like I haven't seen previously, in that people are desperate to sell. Like all of those 5-year ARMs are coming up on commercial loans. I'm looking at storage facilities as well. Every single one of them is offering owner financing. A lot of them are overpriced, or they want certain things, but then you can make money on terms. Like there is so much opportunity right now for people who are creative and who want to put in the work and find deals because they don't have the money to put in or as much money to put in. It's discounted. Like the way that I look at real estate right now is that it's discounted. It's not a great market. That means it's a buyer's market. Like I think we are in a great market right now to be an investor getting in. It is not the 2021 hype and craze. And the good part about that was you knew that the market was trending upward. So even if you didn't make a great buy, you knew that the equity was going to be there and you could turn around and flip it and sell it. So like it was a great market at that time as well. But there's opportunity here if you look at finding it and put the work in and start reaching out to people. Like it's there, and it might just take a little longer, and you have to get creative with it. But people are willing to take things that you can make outrageously rude offers right now, and people will consider them. And that's what I've seen.
I'm a deal while I'm helping somebody put a term sheet together on a.
Oh,
Hello? Are we there?
Oh,
He's
you're
back.
back.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you hear us?
A mobile home park for like $1.9 million, and the seller's willing to do a $500,000 seller carry. Like he's that desperate to move a deal. It's like, yeah, there's.
Yeah. And to Joel's point, if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of capital, you can make money putting a deal together right now because that takes so much work. And you can bring some people on that have capital, do a seller carry, and then put in your equity in there for putting the deal together.
Hugo is saying you can make $200 a week from a newsletter with less than 100 subscribers. So Hugo, if you have your link to your newsletter, throw it in the chat. Hugo will be in Vegas. I don't know if Hugo's gonna be at the actual event, but he probably will be attending Vegas. He does say Lauren is right about a buyer's market. You can now afford approximately 36,000 more in home value compared to this time last year. Find out more in my newsletter. Yes.
What should Mark do a newsletter?
I'm not doing a newsletter.
We should do, I want to do a little like podcast filming. I'm like, I wish, does anyone know of some sort of company that will come and do like a little setup for us? And then we can all do a little.
Well, it won't be accessible to us, but Zuber has a podcast studio set up usually, and that's for so he doesn't pay any of the speakers, but that's his kind of gift to them. So he has this whole production room set up where they can collaborate, people can do interviews and things like that. But there's huge available rooms in the back.
Yeah, I'm bringing my podcast. I'm bringing my equipment. So
yeah. So I think like Dion is going to be recording in the back. Hugo did some recordings the first year he was there. So there's there's like the event area, and then just in the back there's just tons of available space that people might be doing their own little recordings and things. And I'm not sure when you guys are going to be there, but I think like me and Millennial Mike are gonna do stuff on the strip, like walking on the Vegas Strip. And usually they do like a not finance on the street kind of, but they ask people questions, random people like what does inflation mean to you kind of thing, or do you rent or buy, and stuff like that. But they have some stuff on the. They make some content while they're there in Vegas. So I think
who is that?
Millennial Mike. So Mike is he's a police officer in Seattle area. He was with SWAT, but now he went back to regular Leo. So he invests in Gary. He's the king of Gary. He invests in Gary, Indiana.
What day are you guys doing all of that kind of stuff? Or what day are you getting there?
I'm trying not to tell everyone when I'm going, but I'm going to be there on Tuesday. I'm already getting all kind of messages like, oh, when is this and when is that, but I'll be there Tuesday.
Is Zuber gonna pay you to be like the event coordinator?
No, I'm not getting paid anything.
Hopefully, you'll get a little studio time.
I did last year, but I mean, I'll if he offers it again, I'll glad. So same thing. He offered it to me last year, but I tried to bring in people like Curtis, other people that have channels that are trying to grow. I collaborated with them because if I'm gonna get a chance to use the studio, I tried to bring them in so they could get content also for their stuff. So but yeah, I haven't heard much if he's going to do it again this year, but I'm assuming he is. So he has a whole big podcast studio set up. But yeah, I'll be there Tuesday till Tuesday. I'll arrive Tuesday, and then I'm leaving Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday is Dion's meetups. As of now, they're at Denny's on the Strip. Depends on how big the venue is, but it might end up at Bubba Gump. They're thinking, depending on how much people are there. Friday, Brandon is having a Denny's coffee meetup for people that can't stay up late and go to the late night Denny's. He's going to have a Friday morning coffee. I'll probably have the Pittsburgh people piggyback off of that. So a lot like Alex Deacon, Jeremy Taggart will all be there on Friday also. And I told them to save that day if they can just meet up for the coffee. And then Saturday, Sunday is the event. And people, some people are going to do Valentine's Day. So like they have, they're going to, but I'm sure Saturday, Sunday, everyone's going to be hanging out and things. So, but all three of you are going to be there. So we're excited. Yeah, you guys looking forward to it now? Now that Lauren kind of got a better idea of Zuber, who he is. Like I said, I mean, it seems like no, not. I mean, but just
I knew of him a little bit because you guys talk about him so much. So
yeah, but just more like his
yes,
story a little bit. Yeah. But, anything
I mean,
else?
I'm excited. I love conferences. I love being with the people. I'm excited to meet everybody.
Monica, hey, Monica's here on Instagram. Yeah,
Why is she on Instagram? Come over to YouTube. Nobody's there on Instagram. Come on,
no,
Monica.
there is people.
There's a
Don't say there's
convenience of
nobody on
Instagram.
Instagram. Anything guys gonna wrap it up with? I know. I don't know. You guys willing to say when you're gonna be there, Joel? I know Joel, Lauren. What you guys?
Yeah,
Friday?
I'll be there Friday afternoon.
I'm like
2 maybe.
Yeah, I'm considering coming a day or two earlier.
I will.
My boyfriend's coming with me, so you guys will meet him.
Is he gonna come to the event? No.
Yeah, I got him. I got him a ticket. We'll see.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think I just saw like 10 people drop off the live after you said that. She's my favorite. Oh, Lauren always has my back, Monica said. Hey,
I
Val,
sure do.
Val Martin, firefighter realtor on Maui, is here also. He says, I'm here. Monica said all the cool people are on Instagram.
Hey, Lauren, I'm gonna be in Clearwater area doing some interviews and content. March 21st. It's Saturday. Are you gonna be in Florida in that time?
I could.
Okay, well, I'll let you know. I'll be in Kansas City April, I think 7th, doing some interviews. I'm getting some things lined up.
Okay. Yeah.
And then New Orleans is coming soon too. I don't have a date picked out.
I have some great people I could connect you with too in Kansas City.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people are, so Charles is also saying it's his 10-year wedding anniversary, married in Vegas. There's like 3 or 4 people that are, I think, going to be celebrating their anniversary like that weekend.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Those cheap asses did it on Valentine's so they don't forget and they can just. No, I'm just playing. Flavio, here's the question. We'll end it with this one then. Flavio's asking, Joel, are you bringing your girlfriend too?
Of course not. That means I have to choose one.
All right. Well,
man. You could get a couple hotel rooms and just.
Emily's like, well,
I don't condone that.
It's been a while since Emily's been on the Wednesday one. Any final words from you, Emily? Thanks for jumping on today. I know Friday you had some stuff. Friday listing, right? You're selling. Is it you're selling? You're closing on it? A sale or?
Yeah, I just have 2 closings in the morning. So with my final walkthroughs and stuff, it just isn't lined up.
All right. Well, everyone.
Hugo's getting married in Vegas. We'll all be at the wedding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh said he's sorry. He's been mixing your guys' names up, he said.
I saw that, Josh. It's okay.
And
Hugo, I saw your message. I'll hit you up.
Oh, next year's Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day, Coach Nick is saying.
Oh.
Wait, I'll see you guys before
That's gonna cause some issues for people.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for doing this. It's always fun. I'm glad everyone is here. Emily's what?
On the closing, I was like, what? Yeah. About what? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
On the closing.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, everyone. I will be back. Like I said, I'll be back Friday with Justin Cambra and Brian Waters, Code 3. He's been on recently. He's a fire captain out in LA. He does out-of-state investing in Detroit. But everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you folks on Friday. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.